So, all right, let's get started. So, welcome everybody. For all of you that are here, again, you feel free to keep your mic open unless you have a party going on in the background or moving around a lot. We can certainly start muting you if needed. Um, and then, sorry about that. And then, yeah, feel free to open up your mic, ask questions in the chat. This is very discussion based, and I really want everybody to be a part of this. So, for all of you that are here, this is also our very first meeting of the new session of business school. So we have several of our newer agents on here as well. So congratulations for all of you joining us and being a part of this. This is going to be awesome. We're melding for the next 10 weeks. We're melding the business school classes in with Wednesday Toolbox classes. So it'll be fun. All right. All right. So today we are talking about the vault, and we're talking about my equity. So I'm going to start in the vault here. Hold on one second. All right. I'm going to share my screen with everybody. And we'll go.
I cannot hear.
KO, you can't hear? There we go. All right. Zoom can always be fun. As you already know, we had to go to Plan B for Zoom meeting room today because we had a little glitch this morning on the other one. So part of real estate is just going with the flow, right? Things change all the time, and we just do what we need to do. So know that that's going on. Okay. All righty. So the vault is right here for you. Can you guys see my screen okay? Somebody say yes. It's unmuted.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. All righty. And so the vault, to get in here, it's vault.equitygroup.com. And most of you should have already been able to get in here and been able to at least check it out. If for some reason you don't have access, if you do not have access, then sorry, guys. I am going to just keep everybody muted. If you need to unmute to ask a question, go for it. I don't know about you guys, but I'm hearing a lot of feedback. So I just muted everybody. Again, if you need to talk, have a question, feel free to unmute yourself for that moment. That would be great. And then we'll have fewer distractions. All right. So with the vault, if you've already been in here, great. If for some reason you have never been in here, and especially if you don't know your access, please reach out to your branch staff as soon as this meeting is done to have them help you figure out how to get in, okay? So I just wanted to throw that out there. If you cannot access your vault, then please contact your branch staff. All righty, so that's super important for that. So we're gonna take a little tour around here. I'm gonna show you some of the main points. And then feel free to ask as many questions as you guys want as well. We'll hit my equity at the very end. Once you go into the vault, the first thing you want to do is look at in the top right, you'll see your photo, or you'll see an icon if your photo is not in there. This is going to allow you to go into your profile right here and be able to make sure that everything is correct in your profile and be able to edit what you need. Anything that's grayed out is something that you cannot change on your own. That's something that admin has to change. So if you notice that your name is misspelled, or maybe your desk phone line, your 495 number for most of us is wrong, something of that nature, contact your branch staff. We can help with that, get that taken care of. And then if we scroll down, just make sure you're in the right office. Most of you should be. And then you're going to see the upload picture. Please make sure that you have a photo in there. It should be a high-res photo. And the other thing, too, is if somebody's going to do a double take on your photo, if they see you in person, you might want to have a new photo done, just as an FYI. It's interesting if you look around a lot of the photos that are on people's websites, they don't always totally match the person anymore because a photo taken back in 1985 is a little different than people look today. So just throwing that out there for you. So I do recommend possibly getting an updated photo and putting that in there. Where you see this right here asking for a logo, that is not a RE/MAX logo or a RE/MAX Equity Group logo. That is if you have your own branded logo for, you know, Joe Blow Real Estate. That's what that is for, okay? And so if you don't have your own logo, if you don't have your own branding like that, you don't need to worry about doing anything on this piece right here, okay? Please make sure that when it says license in Oregon, or if you're in Washington, it would be a little different, but make sure it says yes if you are licensed in Oregon. And that's so that it actually on the website says licensed in Oregon, because that's what needs to be on there for legal reasons, okay? And then you'll see the bio. I highly
Craig,
recommend.
sorry, could I ask a question?
Yes, Nancy.
What if you're licensed in both?
If you are licensed in both, you would still answer yes for licensed in Oregon. I will be honest with you and tell you, I don't know if it says on there licensed in Washington and in Oregon. I'll have to find out for you, Nancy.
Okay, that'd be great.
All right. All right. So I wrote that down. There we go. We're gonna mute you back. Okay. So the bio is. Can you guys hear me okay? Allison, yes? Okay, thank you. It just popped up, said my internet is unstable. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm stopping my video. There we go. If for any of you that are on Zoom, if your internet starts going unstable, if you just turn off your video and go to your still picture or just your name, that's the first thing to do to hopefully help your bandwidth. All right, so bio. You want to make sure that you have a bio in here, okay? It's super important for people to know who you are. It doesn't have to be very long. I truly believe that it needs to be something that that is a little bit more personal in nature, so that people can see a little bit more about you other than just being a realtor, okay? And that's my thought. If you need help with your bio, again, reach out to your branch staff. I'm sure we can help you, at least give you some pointers, maybe read a draft that you've written and let you know if it works or not, and go from there, okay? And then we have more information in here, your zip code areas. This is important because any leads that come through from equitygroup.com will be from these particular zip code areas. So you can put, I believe, up to 10 in there. So make sure that you have those in there as well, okay? If you speak a different language outside of English, make sure it's marked in here because it'll actually note it on your website and it'll note it within the Equity Group website in case somebody is searching for somebody who speaks German or speaks Italian or Russian or whatever it might be, okay? If you have any kind of designations or certifications, please mark them in here. This will help you stand out amongst the crowd if you have them. All right. And then we have the email signature here. I highly recommend that this matches what you have on your own email. It really should be the same thing across the board. All right. So just cut and paste what you have in your regular email and put it in here and you are good to go. Okay. You can include logos and things of that nature in there. And then last but not least, for the important stuff is your social media. This will allow people from your Equity Group website to be able to hit a button and go directly to your social media, which is super important these days. Social media can get you a lot of leads. I have some agents in my office in Hillsborough that spend a good chunk of time just engaging with people on social media and are constantly getting leads left and right. So if you have not really engaged much in social media, reach out to your title reps. We actually have a social media class coming in a few weeks as well. So be on the lookout for that, okay? And then the rest of this has to do with some of the reports. You can put in cover pages. You can put some introduction verbiage in there. As you can see, I have not really played with this very much. This is a newer feature, but you can certainly do that as well, okay? So any questions on the profile so far? Anything in the chat box? Because I cannot see that. Okay.
All good.
All right. Thanks, Allison. All right. All right. So anytime you want to go out, just either actually the best thing to do all the time is typically hit save and close. So if you do make a change, it'll actually save it. Um, and then one really, really quick tip, just an FYI, no matter where you are in the vault, if you want to go back to this dashboard or homepage, what you want to do is come up here and click where it says Remax Equity Group and the vault. That will always take you directly to this homepage, okay? If you hit the back button, it will probably take you out to the sign-on screen. And I don't know about you guys, but it frustrates the crud out of me when I keep doing that. So just hit this icon in the top left. It'll take you right to the screen. All right. So that is the profile for you. Okay. Super important that you have that in there. Now, these down here are all called tiles. If you're not familiar with that term, this is what they're called. So we have different tiles on here. It's everything from your CRM, which is your contact management system. This is if you put all of your folks into the equity group site in your vault, you'll be able to see that. I'll show you what one looks like when you have a bunch of people in there. I know not a lot of people will do it, but I think it's smart to put your clients in there. It keeps them with you if they go to Equity Group. You'll see right here different names, different charts and graphs and things of that nature. This is something to play with down the road. We're actually not going to go too deep into this today because there's a lot to cover. So maybe down the road we can do a little bit more about that. I'm going to hit this icon to go back to the homepage. This is where you can see all of your contacts and leads. We have a property search function, home finder. There are quite a few different reports that you can run. This class is not going to go into the reports on a deep level other than tell you that they're here. I think that a lot of these reports can help you do your business very well. In fact, the market reports and the quarterly market reports are really, in my opinion, especially good for those that have already closed on their home. So you can send them either monthly or quarterly reports that says, this is what's going on in your specific neighborhood. And they're pretty cool. So it's something that we'll dive deeper into in the future, not so much today, but know that they're there, okay? In order to fiddle around a little bit with your website, the web builder right here is where you're gonna do that, okay? And again, this is an overview of the vault. We're not gonna go too deep into the web today, but know that you can certainly come in here, and I'm gonna hit the web builder right now. You can come in here and I apologize, my picture is sideways. It's random when it happens. It has to do with my photo, which I need to redo. I will tell you, it's gotten me a couple people to call me in the past and say, hey, did you know? And then we just started a discussion, typically talking about real estate towards the end. So if you want to get some attention, do something like this. So anyway, if you want to see some of the stuff you can do with your website, I will tell you right now, mine is loaded up. It's not the way I would keep it if I were in the field like all of you on a regular basis. I loaded it up really so that everybody can see all the different things that you can do. So if you'll notice, there's tabs for sellers and buyers, resources. We've got a whole career site. South Hillsborough, which is a big deal here in our part of the world. There's a whole bunch of information on that. But again, it just gives you an idea of what you can put on there, okay? And if you want to go check that out, it's just Kylebach, KYLEBACH.equitygroup.com, and you'll be able to see all of that, okay? And I will tell you, I mean, you can put what you want on here. You can see that we've got the photos on here. I've got my my stuff right here, and then we've got listings and things of that nature, and my sold property. So it is important that you take care of your website because people will find it, okay? Now we'll share with you too, if you want to do more with your website, one of the biggest things I recommend is to just take a blank piece of paper, just an 8.5 by 11, just blank sheet of paper, and actually draw out how you want it to look, all the different icons that you want on the tabs on the top, what you want underneath them. Don't worry about where you're going to get the content or how you're going to get there. Just worry about the what you want on it. And then we and the branch staff hopefully can help guide you through being able to add some of that to your website as well. Okay. So again, if you want to do more to your website, you're going to, the best thing to do is take a blank piece of paper and start from there. All right. And you can certainly ask us outside of this class for more help, because we'd be happy to help you with that. Okay. So I'm going to get out of that. There are some drip campaigns in here that you can use with your clients. There's not a whole lot in there at the moment. I don't know if the plans are to add or not, but know that you can. There are some drip campaigns in there. There are several in Booge as well on Mac Center, and Mac Center is what we're going to be talking about next Wednesday. So if you want to come then, we can talk a little bit more about those campaigns in there. And then we have two that are really great, especially for open houses. We have My Flyers and Open House Registration. Now, My Flyers, I don't know if people are using it. I know a lot of people in a couple of the offices are. If you aren't using this yet to do flyers, especially if you're an agent that might be doing open houses for somebody else, for other people's listings, this My Flyers program allows you to brand somebody else's listing, that flyer, to you instead of to them. So, which is important to me when I think you're doing open houses for somebody else. And I'm going to show you how to do one, because I think this is super important. So you select the My Flyers, you go up to here and hit New. Okay. You give it a flyer name. I'm going to call this Test, and the date, just so that I know that I was doing it today. And then for properties, you can come in here and either start typing in the actual address or the ML number. And I've got an ML number right now that I picked ahead of time. There we go. It's this one right here in Banks, Samantha Garcia's listing, okay? And I don't know if you noticed, but I just had the majority of the ML number in there, and then it auto-populated for me. It is that easy, okay? Now, I will tell you, the listing has to be active for it to work. So if you've got a new listing coming on board tomorrow, you can't come into My Flyers today and do your flyer. You have to wait until it's active. And realistically, you have to wait probably at least about 20 to 30 minutes, possibly a little longer, for the syndication to pick up from RMLS before it'll actually work for you. But it's nice because it's easy to do. And then you'll see that there are six different templates that you can use for your flyers. Now, 3 of these you'll see say Remax Collection on them. Remax Collection can only be used for higher end luxury type listings. It is the minimum price is twice the median for the area. So right now, twice the median is probably around $850, $875, something of that nature. So it's above that price. You can use a collection flyer. If not, do not use them, please. Okay. And then, so we've got 3 that you can use for that are non-collection. Okay. This one right here, this one here, and then this one here. And all you have to do is just choose which one you want. Right underneath it, hit that tab, and then you've got everything you need to start making your flyer. When you're done choosing this, picking your address or ML, and then giving it a name, you hit save and close. Okay, it's created my record. And at this point, I can go in and hit view flyer. And this is where the magic happens. So hang on there. I have a 16-year-old that is probably streaming something really big right now. That's my guess. So hang on there.
Sorry, I'll shut down my TikTok account.
What's your TikTok handle, Joe? You don't want to say, huh?
Old man.
That was mine. I'm going to reload this. Let's go back in my flyers. Hit view flyer again. If somebody wants to start humming the Jeopardy theme, that would work. Well, I'll tell you what. I think there we are. I knew it would eventually happen. So here is our flyer right here. And as you can see, it is branded to me. It's got all my information already. I didn't have to put that in there. It's got all of the information from the listing as far as the verbiage, all of this information. And the beauty of this is that you can add and change the verbiage that you want. So if you're doing an open house, you come up to the top, and instead of just listed, you can actually have it say open house, right? Or welcome home, or whatever it might be. You can get rid of this home sweet home if you want to, if you think maybe that's a little too cheesy, just by highlighting it and clicking delete, okay? The other really nice piece about this is that you can change the photos. If you'll notice, there's 2 of the kitchen here. We really don't need 2 of the kitchen. All I have to do is just hit the arrow buttons here and figure out which photo that I want. And let's do that one. Everybody wants to know there's dining table, right? And then I can come down here and change this one as well. Let's see if there's a good one, maybe of, no, we don't want the closet picture. Maybe of that one right there, okay? So you can change the photos, and then if you want, you can change the verbiage. One of the things I do recommend with the verbiage is that, as all of you guys know, when you're putting stuff in RMLS, sometimes we have to truncate the words, the verbiage, so that we can fit everything in. So this is where you can actually go through and maybe take the abbreviated pieces out of there and actually type it out completely. But it's really, really easy. I don't know if you guys saw how easy it was to make that flyer. And then at that point, we can hit save, so we have it saved. And then all we have to do is hit print when we're at the office, and we can print off as many as we need. It is truly that easy to make a flyer, okay? Anybody have any questions about the My Flyer program? Okay. I highly recommend using this the next time you need a flyer. It's super duper easy. And that's that one right there. Now, we also have the open house registration. If you haven't seen this before, if you are at an open house and you want to be able to use either your own computer or a tablet of some sort, you can come in here and actually use it for feedback. It's a little different today, I think, because of COVID. We probably don't want people touching our computers and our tablets and things like that. But hopefully in the future, when we're out of this whole COVID era, maybe we can use this. But I don't know if you noticed, all I had to do was type in the ML number. You leave it sitting there, and somebody can type in their first name, last name, their email, their phone, how they heard about it, and are you working with a real estate agent, yes or no. When they say yes, they will basically not receive anything else from you, okay? If they say no, it's actually going to send them a quick message from your vault, from the back end, add them as a lead or contact in your CRM on the vault, and then it's just going to say, thanks for popping by the open house, here's some more information for you. And it's the listing information. So it's pretty cool. It's something that is available for everybody. Before we had this program available to us and I was out in the field, I was spending probably $25, $30 a month on a program that did the same thing. And the program, to be honest with you, was probably cooler when iPads were new and everybody wanted to touch them. But it's a little different, I think, now that everybody's kind of done all that. And then there's a spot for feedback as well. Nancy, you had a question?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe rather than them doing it, maybe you could just, as the host, type it in yourself so they don't have to touch your pad.
I think that's a wonderful idea.
Just as a thought. And I only bring that up because I know that, contact tracing is huge. And Carolyn Ashley was just notified that somebody came through her open house, or not. I don't know if it was the open or if it was that they viewed it, on a showing, who was exposed to
Right.
COVID. And so they had to go in and, go back through. And luckily, at her open house, the prior weekend or what have you, she was able to go back through and get all the contact people. And, so just food for thought. It's really hit closer to home with that noted yesterday in our business meeting. So
yeah, no, that's honestly a great idea. In fact, with open houses, since all this started back in March, I highly recommend that even if you're doing this on paper and just have a form to fill out or just a lined piece of paper, for the agent to do all the information, because really when somebody touches a pen, you shouldn't even be having anybody else touch it again right now anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So I do recommend that, and that's a great idea to be able to use this program and just do it with them and just type it right in.
Could I ask another quick question? So once you hit, so if you check no, they're not working with an agent, and you said that it generates, a quick check-in with them and said, hey, da da da. Do you have to generate that email or turn some sort of function on in the back end to make that work like that, or is that an automatic?
It's automatic.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay,
It
cool.
is automatic. And my suggestion for y'all, maybe write a note to yourself if you'd like this function or this feature in the Vault. When you get back to your computer today, or when you have some time this afternoon, go in here and go into the open house registration, type in an ML number that's active, maybe one of your own, that would be good. And then put your information in there, and see
it.
what it
Okay.
looks like, or maybe a spouse
That's a
or
great
somebody
idea.
else in your family. With all of these items that include some kind of registration or somebody just, sending their email in, I recommend for all of you guys to try them before you try them out on your clients, right? No matter what app or program or whatever it is, try it out on yourself or maybe somebody else in your family first, so that you know what it looks like. Okay. So good questions. So that's the open house registration.
Kyle,
Yes.
it's Kathy.
Hi.
What is generated to them? A letter or?
It's an email that goes to them that basically, if I remember correctly, it's been a while since I've seen it, will send them another copy of really the listing detail information, and then just say thanks for stopping by. And the nice part about it too is that then enters them into your CRM on the Vault, which means you have all their information whenever you want it.
Perfect.
Yeah. All right. And then the document center, this is where you're going to be using the Vault quite a bit. Okay. The document center is one that has a lot of different forms in it. And whether it's the in-house forms that we have for both Oregon and Washington, disclosure forms, the in-house legal forms, there's logos and graphics. So if you need some logos, this is one of the places to find them. Okay. Really easy to find. There are some marketing pieces in here if you want as well. The marketing pieces also include the buyer and seller books. So especially for those of you that are newer agents, you don't have to recreate the wheel here. You have a buyer's book and a seller book that you can easily print out. The cover page, you can type in your name and the word, broker, or type in your name, broker, and your phone number for the front page of it. You can print them all out. We have binding supplies at the office, whether it's spiral bound or the heat, like book bound stuff. Talk to your branch staff about how to do that if you're not aware of it. And it's really easy to make you look amazing without having to do a whole lot of work, to be honest with you. I do know too, just an FYI, for those of you that have seen these books in the past and whatnot, or are wondering, they're being updated at the moment. So we'll have some new ones. I don't know what the ETA is on that, but we'll have some new ones hopefully coming soon as well. So those will be really cool. We also have things about all of our partnerships and our agent services. For those of you that aren't aware of it, we do have a DocuSign account that's a corporate account. It's a lot less money than a full retail account through DocuSign. Ask your branch staff, please, about it if you're not already signed up for it. It's a great deal and can save you a few bucks. We have a tab in here for COVID-19 resources. If you have not looked at these yet, please do. It's important to know how we're doing everything with COVID. If you have listings during COVID, there's a flyer that you can print out on here to put on the front door so that everybody's aware that we do have protocol that we want to adhere to. Okay. And then we have things like the marketing quick links and things of that nature. Okay. Now, one really cool thing about this, there's a lot of forms in here. And unless you know exactly what it's called or where to look, like I know to look in, the Oregon forms for, the backup offer addendum or whatever it might be, right? And it's just because I'm asked on a regular basis, where can I get this? So that's, my brain kind of remembers some of it. But most of us aren't going to remember. So if you see at the very top here, there's a search bar, okay? let's just say I'm trying to do broker instructions here in Oregon, right? All I have to start doing is typing in the word broker. You'll see broker instructions to escrow. I hit that. I now have a document that I can fill in and be able to print out or save as a PDF. Don't just save normally, don't save as. You need to actually print it out as saving as a PDF, okay, in order to do that. But it's that easy to find all of these things in here. And all you have to do is just go to the very top, start typing in the search bar. If you then are still having a hard time finding what you need to, reach out to your branch staff. But it's really easy finding stuff in the search bar in the vault. Okay. Outside of that, we have different tiles in here for a lot of the other programs that you guys use on a regular basis. My Equity, which we'll be going into detail in just a moment. Paperless Pipeline, this is our paper system that we have everybody putting all their paperwork into. And these are all, you hit it and you'll go right into that program. If you have an equitygroup.com email address, this is where you can go on the back end to get into there. Not everybody has these, this is an FYI. DocuSign, RMLS, zip forms. These are things we use on a daily basis. If you don't want to bookmark them, I don't know if you can see all my bookmarks up here, but I have DocuSign and zip forms and all of that already bookmarked on my own computer. If you don't want to, just make sure that you open the vault every time you're working, and you now have a place to go to just hit it and go right to those programs. Okay. Cloud CMA. Many of you have a Cloud CMA program, which is only $12 a month for anybody who wants a different CMA program. We can run it through your personals. We have Buy-Side Connect, which we're going to talk about more in detail, hopefully very soon. Deluxe Brand and Marketing, Paradigm are 2, and Virtuance are 3 of our partners that we have. Deluxe is for all marketing things, whether it's mail, like USPS mail, direct mail type stuff. It's also if you want to have an Equity Group hat or shirt, go there because they've got those. If you need a new name badge, by the way, or Remax a balloon pin, let's say you lost yours, that's another place to get them fairly inexpensive. If you are not wearing a pin, if you are not wearing a name badge on a regular basis, I highly recommend you to do so. I always tell everybody, don't be a secret agent. Every year when we're doing our top 10 event, there's always at least 1 or 2 agents that can say, I met somebody randomly. I met quite a few different people randomly at the grocery store, at a restaurant, wherever it is, because they saw my pin or they saw my name badge. Don't miss some business just because you're not doing that. So again, if you've lost it, you can go there and order it. If you're newer and never got one, get a hold of your branch staff, please. Okay. And we'll go from there. You can get to Max Center from here as well. That's all of the Remax.com, Remax.net really services that we have. And we're going to go through that next Wednesday. So if you want to put that on your calendar, next Wednesday, 10 a.m., we'll be talking about Max Center. Okay. So that pretty much is the vault in and of itself. Before we get into My Equity, I see we have a couple of things in the chat. How do we not have balloon masks? Venus, I love that question. Venus is asking, why don't we have balloon masks? You actually can get Remax printed masks. If you go to Max Center and go to some of the approved suppliers, you'll see some there. So actually was at my office yesterday and saw somebody wearing one of the Remax branded masks. They're actually pretty nice. All righty. Any other questions on the vault so far? All righty. Cool. So that's the vault. Again, my suggestion for a takeaway today, if you have not really been in here, if you haven't done anything, a couple action items for you. Number 1, check out your profile. Make sure everything's right. Whether it's your picture, the bio, just the information is all correct on there. And then the other thing I would recommend is go into My Flyers and just do a test if you've never done this or haven't in a while, just to make sure you can turn one out. And I know it sounds weird, but the last thing I want all of you guys to do is to frantically be working Friday night at 8 o'clock for a Saturday open house and just trying to figure it out that late. rather than if you practice a couple of times ahead of time, you'll know exactly what you're doing. It'll be a piece of cake. Okay. So those are a couple of actionable items I would recommend for today on the vault. All right, now we're going to go into my equity here. My equity is a basically a communication program, communication tool that we have as a company that can allow all of you guys as agents, branch staff, managers, admin to talk to everybody all at the same time. Each of the branches has their own what we call loop. So, you know, Kathy at Suburban Southwest can pop something in the Suburban Southwest loop that basically says, you know, we're the coolest branch. Nobody else is as cool as we are. And they're the only ones that are going to see that. So they're not riling everybody's feathers, right? And so it's kind of cool that we can do that. We can also, at a company level, put stuff out there for everybody to see. So if you're getting haves and wants, this is where they are, and I'll show you where those are in a moment. Or even just this morning, you'll see the very first thing that's popping up is my, or the second thing now, is my Toolbox Wednesday class this morning, different URL. You know, I wanted to make sure everybody could see that because we did have the glitch in the normal URL. And you can get that out to everybody. So it's kind of cool that we can do that. And you'll see a lot of different pieces in here. So I will tell you too, if you have not been in my equity yet, please go in there by the end of today just to try it out and see what's there. Make sure your settings are correct. Again, there are settings on this one, and this is where we're going to start at the top right. Again, if you click on your icon, or it'll just be your initials if you haven't put a photo in, you can go to your settings and just make sure that everything is correct as far as your phone, your email, all of that. Okay. FYI too, you'll see a bunch of different what we call loops over here to the left. All of you guys will not have that many loops on there. I have quite a few more just on an admin level and a manager level. I have quite a few different things on here. So just as an FYI, if you're looking at yours and saying, hey, mine looks different than Kyle's, there's a reason for that. So not everybody has all these different loops on there. And then with the settings, you'll want to also come in here and make sure that you're getting notifications correctly and your subscriptions are right. So subscriptions really comes down to which loops you want to be a part of. And to be totally honest with you, I would leave this fairly open. You never know what's coming from some of these sources that you might want. The only one that might be different, and I apologize in advance to everybody that works up in Southwest Washington, but if you're an agent that basically doesn't need to know vendors for Southwest Washington because you're not doing any business up there, you can certainly click off that subscription, right? So you're not getting pelted with those. Other than that, I really don't see why you would take some of them off. I think it's important to be open to this communication. The idea behind having this tool was to stop getting 20 different emails on a daily basis between admin, your branch, haves and wants, you know, all those different things that we got slammed with in the past. We still do just outside of the company. And so that we could put that stuff in this program, and then you get to control how you get it, right? So you can control your subscriptions, and you can also control the notifications. So the next thing you want to go into is notifications. Excuse me. And you can be notified either via email or through push notification on your phones, or both, okay? So if you're not familiar, push notifications are the things that pop up on your phone saying, hey, your Postmates order is ready, or whatever it is, right? You've got those types of notifications that happen on your phone. That's what the push is. I personally like having those because I'm a little bit more app-based these days, and I don't want my email totally thrashed with extra stuff when I can get the push. And then you can choose email if you want. So it's as easy as hitting, all push. I can just turn this off and they're all gone if you can see that. Or if you go in here and none of the push is on and you want the push, just hit that and they'll all be pushed to you when they come through. Okay. And these are notifications like searches, posts, loops and folders, things of that nature. There's also mentions. So if somebody mentions you, you'll get notified. It's a little more social media-esque. Okay. So that's what you want to do first. Again, go into your settings, make sure everything's good, check your subscriptions, check your notifications, make sure you are getting notified. And I'll be the first one to admit, my branch in Hillsborough was one of the first branches to originally get this program because we rolled it out slowly when it first came out a few years ago. And the day that I was in front of my branch at a sales meeting talking about it, in that hour that we were meeting in a sales meeting, I got 71 notifications from my equity, but it was all because it was brand new and branches were loading stuff into it. It's not going to be that much on a daily basis. Okay. So what I'm telling you this for is I originally took off all my notifications for the first couple months and then forgot. So I kind of felt like, hey, I'm not getting anything. Well, that's probably why. If you're not getting anything from my equity, it's because you're not getting notified. So please go into notifications, make sure you're getting notified either via push or email so you're seeing these things regularly. You can also, if you want, just go into my equity, daily and check it and make sure you've got everything you need to know. But I think it's important to make sure that you're getting these notifications. And it could be things like right here, Michelle Smith out in Gresham has a new listing that just came on the market, right? And my thought is, who knows? Maybe you have somebody that's looking Southeast Portland and they're right in that $400,000 price range, and you've been looking for 3 months for this client, right? If you're not getting notified, and yeah, you're probably getting it via RMLS and everything else, but hey, I don't know about you guys. Michelle's cool. I like Michelle. It'd be great to work with her, right? So you'll get this notification. You can then go ahead and grab it through RMLS, send it to your client, and make a deal happen right then and there, right? So that's pretty cool. What else with my equity? So this is the home screen for my equity. I will tell you some of the kind of highlights with my equity as far as some of the pieces on here. Haves and wants. We have haves and wants for Oregon and Washington. And these, if you're not familiar with haves and wants, these are either new listings that are coming on the market or just hit the market. Those are haves. The wants are buyers that you have that are wanting something that might be that, hey, you've already looked at everything that's through the MLS. You've already looked at for every for sale by owner and Zillow and whatever it might be. And you're just getting to that point of like, you know what? I'd love to get them in a contract, but I can't find the right house. Go into haves and wants and put it in there as a want, right? With some of that information. Don't put your buyer's name and phone number in there. Don't do that. But certainly just put some information on what they're looking for, a rough idea of price range. And you know what? All it takes is for another agent within our company to see that and say, hey, wait a minute. I've got a listing coming up in 3 weeks. It sounds kind of like that. Let's see if we can, notify them and make sure that they're aware of this coming on the market, right? So that's what this is for. It's to help our company, help all the agents within the company maybe see what's coming up soon, or maybe have the wants and things like that, the buyers that are looking. So I do recommend that one. For newer agents, this open house loop, we call it, is super important. And I say that because, one of the ways, especially as a new agent, if you don't have your own listings, you can certainly get some business, is to hold other listings open that are somebody else's listings. And it's been very successful. So Sean Belton, back in July 22nd, put a thing in here saying, I'm available to host your open house this Saturday or Sunday. And he put a little more information in there. And very quickly, he got Ed Petrosian saying, hey, I've got something. We also have somebody else here from Broadway that put that in there and said, hey, I've got one that you can hold open as well. So this just allows you to get outside of sometimes your own branch, because a lot of times you'll talk about these things at your sales meetings, but you never know. I know Ed's had listings out here in Hillsborough as well as in Portland. And a lot of times he might not know the agents out here that are wanting to open houses. So it's a really, really good tool to do that. Or let's say you've got a new listing coming on and you either, number one, don't like doing your own open houses, or number two, just you're not available. You're actually getting out of town for a couple of days, getting some R&R, whatever it might be. Or you just don't want to host your own open. Put it on here saying, hey, I've got a listing coming up on 123 Main Street that I'd love to have somebody hold open this weekend. Are you available? Give me a call. I will tell you right now, if you do that, you'll have several people probably calling you. because there are a lot of agents that are looking to do open houses. They can be done safely. They can be done well, as long as we adhere to all the COVID guidelines. Okay. So I think that that's super important. Another really great loop in here is the vendors loop. So here's probably the best case scenario with this. You're at a listing presentation, or you're talking to a buyer because they're going through their inspection report. And let's go back to the listing presentation one. You're looking through the house and you realize, you know what, maybe the paint needs to be touched up, and that can get them some good, solid offers, make the house pop a little bit better, whatever it might be. And let's say they look at you and say, hey, we're thinking about getting the walls painted. Do you have somebody? And you know what? Not all of us have a bunch of people in our own database for referrals. So if you either don't have anybody, or like me, the last couple people that I used for different things either did a bad job or they're not in the business anymore, what I recommend doing is going to this vendors loop, and you can do a quick search, right? And I'm going to go up to the top right in the search bar here, and I'm going to type in paint, right? And you can see right here, a bunch of different things came up with paint. Right here, exterior, there's an exterior painter referral. Joe Shafbo put in there, hey, I need somebody. It's back in 2016. Look at the dates, because you want to make sure, if it's even more than a year, you probably want to make sure these folks are still in business, FYI. But very quickly, look at all these people that are referred, right, for exterior painting. It's a great way to be able to look really amazing in front of your clients without having to make a bunch of phone calls, without having to run around and find somebody that maybe you weren't aware of that's out there. Does that make sense? Okay. So that's a really cool piece. And then, like I said before, each branch has their own loop. And I hope you don't mind, Joe, I'm going to use West Hills as an example. West Hills does an amazing job at keeping their branch in the loop, for lack of better terms. And they utilize My Equity as one of probably 4 or 5 different ways to do it. So good job, Joe and gang over at West Hills. But I love the fact that you can see in here, there's stuff, July, August, just in the last 24 hours, a couple of things, everything from sales meetings. Tamara put something in here about the OAR Tech Helpline. Did you guys know that there was a tech helpline through Oregon Association of Realtors? A lot of people don't. It's a great way to do it. We're already paying for the services. So that's really cool. But you can see that they keep their branch communicated with on a regular basis through My Equity. And this is a really great way to do it. And then, there are times where people can comment below, put, hey, I used the OAR tech services and loved it, or whatever it is. You can totally add that in there. And I think that's really, really cool the way that is. Okay. So, and I know another branch that's really good with this is Sunnyside. I'm going to show theirs really quick as well. So they do everything from meeting notes, anniversaries. This one here is a new building policy memo. So if there's something going on that everybody needs to be aware of, it's a great idea for us as staff, us as branch managers, putting it in My Equity so you can see it with everybody else. You can refer back to it. You don't have to search through a bunch of your emails. We all get emailed a gazillion times a day. And it's just a really easy way for us to communicate with the branches that way. Okay. So just know that that's there. And then we have different ones from our partners, as well as either from leadership or like the marketing and training. We put all the classes in here that happen on a regular basis. We put the Toolbox Wednesdays typically in here. Caitlin's does a great job with that. She's on vacation this week, getting some R&R. So that's why this one wasn't posted this week on there. But it's just a great way to know what's going on within the company, within your branch. And I cannot say enough about this program. And if you aren't on it already, if you don't have the app on your phone, if you don't go in and utilize it, please start doing it. Make this an actionable item today and get in there and see what you can do to start playing with it, because it's an amazing program. Okay. Any of the branch staff or managers, can you guys think of anything I missed on My Equity that you think we should highlight?
Kyle, you have a question. An
Yes.
agent's wondering if you can see other branches' notes in meeting minutes.
You cannot. You're pretty much limited to the branch that you are at. If you're duly licensed, I believe you should be on both. If you're not, let that branch staff know so that we can get that changed. So no, I have access on an admin level to all of those. Sorry, guys. Did I miss anything else, folks?
I think I would just mention, Kyle, that if they're not set up, that they can see their branch staff and their branch staff can set them up on it.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, I was just wondering, I'm set up, but I was just curious, like, you know, I'm just looking at, as Kyle's, you know, sharing his screen, and I'm seeing Toolbox Wednesday and all that kind of stuff. So I was just wondering, like, when they do lunch and learns at different branches, and we might want to refer back if we weren't able to attend the Zoom meeting or what have you, is that available to see between branches or not?
So you cannot see things between branches. So for instance, like the folks at Hillsborough can't see what's going on in West Hills if it's just in that branch loop. But I will say, since, you know, the middle of March, end of March, since the you know, COVID hit and we started locking down a little bit, the 90% of the classes that are happening are company wide lately. And so they are going under this marketing and training tab. Like, for instance, this week, if I can find it really quick, we are doing a class on Thursday at 12 o'clock. And it's this one right here, and it's COVID-19 and the moratorium on residential evictions with Dan Hayes. Highly recommended if you want to know what's going on in the world of residential evictions. This is a copy of the flyer. But yeah, that's located in there as well. And then realistically, I know some of the branches are still doing separate classes just at their own branch, or I know a couple of the title companies are doing a really great job about just having constant classes all week. And some of the branches kind of grab that information and get it out to their agents. This is where that would be in their branch. We as a company are not putting every single class we know about out there. It's just the ones that we are either hosting or sponsoring, I guess you could say. Does that make sense? Did I answer your question?
It does.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. So I do recommend, again, go into My Equity. Make sure you're getting notified, especially in stuff like the marketing and training. So you see these as they pop up. Most of the Thursday classes, I usually get flyers for those 2 to 3 weeks in advance and try to make sure that they're in there right away. It's got the Zoom links. All of that is in there. And then you can put them on your calendar as well so that you can be there for it. So yeah, I'd recommend making sure you guys are getting your notifications for it. All right. I'm going to start my video back up. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Want to see all these wonderful faces. Anybody have any other questions about the vault, My Equity? I am open for questions.
Do loops just automatically come on, or do you have to add loops? Because when I was looking, I didn't see any.
So loops will be added on the back end via admin. If you don't see any Felicia loops, then you and I need to chat, or maybe you and Allison can connect, and we'll figure out what's going on with that. But realistically, you should have some admin loops, and that's going to be leadership, marketing and training, legal briefs, technology. You'll partners loops. You'll have all the haves and wants, the open houses, and then your branch loop. That's realistically what you should have. If that makes sense.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to.
Okay. And then Christine says, I've noticed a lot of other names that have viewed on LO classes when I post them in the Me app under education and training. Christine, it might be branch staff and managers, because I think we all have access to all the other branches. But I'm not sure. I'll have to check on that. Any other questions? Okay, so again, I highly recommend everybody take a moment after you sign out of here and highlight or write down a couple actionable steps that you can do off of what you learned today. If you don't do that, I promise you, this won't get into your head, because it's really easy. There's so much that we're getting on a regular basis, and if you just do a couple of things from what you learned, it will help you immensely and make it so much better your entire experience. So please make sure you do a couple actionable items after this class today. The biggest thing is just making sure that you can get into the vault and get on My Equity. Those are probably the first things, to be honest with you. And again, if you have any questions on it, reach out to your branch staff, please, because they can help you. The branch staff is amazing at what they do, and even more, I think, that we don't need, that we don't know that they can do sometimes. I'm amazed on a regular basis. So they do an amazing job. Reach out to them. They can help you. Deborah asks, is there a timeout on the vault? Are you talking like if you don't do a good job and you get sent to a timeout? Just kidding. Sorry, that's a dad thing. Thank you. As far as timeout, I don't think there is. I know a lot of programs, especially zip forms, DocuSigns, I think for legal reasons, if you keep on too long, they cut you off. I don't think the vault does, but if anything, it's just going to ask you to sign in again, so it's not that big of a thing. Which I will put a plug into. There's so many programs that all of you guys use on a regular basis. If you are not using a password management system like LastPass, or I think there's one called OnePass, I use LastPass. If you are not using those, I recommend looking into it. Most of them are free or very inexpensive at this point. And I'll give you I'll actually show you if you guys don't mind, because a lot of people just don't know this is even available. So if I go in here and I just choose like my DocuSign, right? You guys hopefully can see that, right? I don't know if you noticed, but it already has this in here, my email, and then the password is already entered in there because I have it set on autofill, right? And it's really nice. And then if I want to, I can come up here to the LastPass icon and have it fill if it's not already filled or whatnot. And all I have to do now is just hit login and I'm there. It's that easy. I don't have to type in my passwords. I'm an awful typer. So I mess things up all the time. So having that there is amazing. And then the really cool part is, see, it got me right in within seconds. I didn't have to type a single thing in there, which is really cool. But what's really nice with LastPass is that it allows me to do that on my mobile device now too. So I don't have to remember a single password outside of the one for LastPass anymore. So it's just a
I have
plug
a quick question about DocuSign.
Yeah.
So I've always had my own account because before the company, I can't remember. Anyways, for some reason, I've always had my own.
Mm-hmm.
Can I, if I wanted to take advantage of the company one,
Mm-hmm.
how would I merge those, or could I merge those?
Yes, there's a process. I don't know it off the top of my head. There's a process where you can get the new account and still see all the stuff in your old account.
Okay.
And if you just reach out to your branch staff, I believe I'm trying to think if we have all that still somewhere. I believe they can probably get you all the information. But it's
Okay.
easy. It's just one form that you fill in so that we can get you started. It can be in the middle of your contract with DocuSign, and DocuSign will even credit you back what they owe you for the unused time you didn't pay for
wow.
your own account.
That's
and
nice.
it's $150 a year for the corporate account.
Oh my gosh, that's a huge savings.
It is. The full retail on what I call our Realtor Crack DocuSign is, I think it's like $360 now. It started out super cheap and then little by little grew as it got
increased.
And it's $150 a year. The renewal date on that is mid-October. So Nancy, if you were to sign up with your branch staff today, you're looking at just like basically 2 months of the $150 one, and then in mid-October you'll get charged for the whole next year at $150. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but if I've already paid over the $150 for the corporate, would I get credited back for the difference?
So DocuSign, you can send basically a request to DocuSign to get what they owe you. Let's say your DocuSign account now is good till December 31st, right? Just for a round number. When you sign up for the corporate account, you can then go back to DocuSign and say, hey, I just signed up for a corporate account, and could you guys please credit me or give me money back? And they'll credit your card, whatever they have on file, between that date through December 31st.
Between the date that I sign up and the renewal of the corporate account.
No, the renewal of your old account. So that,
Of my
that
old
money
account.
that you already
Gotcha.
paid DocuSign will credit you back that money. It's not us. DocuSign.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
I have
Good
a
to know.
question.
Yes.
Yeah, I have a question. How do I get my certificate for the CE class?
For which one? This one?
Yeah, this one. And I think that, well, last time that you taught the class, I didn't get the certificate either.
Okay, so this class is not a CE class.
Okay.
It's not something that's certified. And the class last Wednesday on seller reporting was not a CE class as well.
Oh, okay.
Not all classes are CE classes. It depends on the topics. When there are things like this, in-house materials or marketing typically, they're not CE credits, and we'll let you know when they are.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. But I will say on CE credits, make sure you go for the content. I think content is king, and it's super important whether there's credit hours or not, because we've had classes recently with WFG National Title. They've done a couple that weren't CE classes, and they were amazing classes on marketing and videos. That the content is, to me, more important than just the credit hours.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Was that the one on the 5th of August with WFG?
Yeah, that was one of two they've done for us recently. Yeah, the video one.
Do they have, is that a recorded one? Do you know?
I have not heard back from them yet. That's not our control, so I'm trying to get
gotcha.
from Aaron. The last one that we did for the call to action class is recorded, and I believe on My Equity.
Okay, great. Yeah, I would like to know if they have if we can get access to the the video one, just because I'm finally coming above water and I'm going to have some time to focus in on some of those. And so should I check back with you later, Kyle, or should I check with somebody at WFG? I don't know who it was.
So I will check with Aaron over at WFG.
Okay.
And then if I can get the link, I'll post it in My Equity under that class.
Nice.
So
Okay.
if you go to My Equity and just make sure you're getting notifications for the marketing and training department, then you should be all good.
Thanks.
You're very welcome. Any other questions, thoughts, dreams you want us to fulfill? I'm just kidding. We try to do what we can. All right, guys. Thank you all for coming on today. I appreciate it. Hopefully you got a lot out of it. If you do have any more questions, contact your branch staff. You can always get a hold of me as well. My email is kyleb@equitygroupteam.com, and I can certainly help you out as well. And then for all of you that are in business school, I will see you all at 1 o'clock for more stuff. All right. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.